Guys, how are ya? It's been a while. I honestly don't think I've recorded a sound design hangout. It's like late November-ish. I think it's probably been since like mid-October. The number 34 SDHO. Guys, what is going on? I finally did it. Created a sound design hangout collection on OpenSea, on the Polygon blockchain, so there will be no gas fees, and the most recent SDHO thumbnail is now for purchase. So you will own the original artwork that I made. This is a very large PNG file, which is unlockable. I can also actually provide the actual project in Blender here. But this is a great way if you want to support me. And you will also own a piece of the sound design hangout history. So you will be the only person who owns this. And it's an excellent way to do it. So it's on OpenSea. I would recommend using a MetaMask wallet or a Coinbase wallet. And it's on Polygon, so none of those gas fees. It's actually been a long time. I've just been doing some other things with my life. This year has really been when I started making these videos quite regularly. But I think I need to get a new microphone. If you guys know anything about microphones, I really don't. This is like a Shure SM57, 58. I always confuse which one it is. It's like that one you always see, dynamic mic. But for some reason, even though with this pop filter, like it's almost like it's accentuating every single plosive. And I mean, I don't know if this is like, should I be talking much further away? I thought we wanted to talk kind of close. I know a lot about music production, sound design, but like microphones just really aren't my thing. But if you have any suggestions of something that is like high quality, that isn't like crazy expensive, and I'm assuming there's too many of these plosives that it picks up, so let me know. But in any event, it's been a while, so hopefully I don't forget how to talk. But today's gonna be pretty cool because we're going to, so this is gonna be a hangout that I think all of you who play an instrument, specifically an instrument that you would like plug into an audio interface, like a guitar, a bass guitar, some sort of an instrument. I mean, like, can't you also do that with like a violin, or anything that you would plug into an audio interface, and then you're able to play that instrument through Ableton. And actually, that was one of the topics that was really important to me when I first decided to get Ableton. I thought I was gonna make music with my guitar. Like I started playing guitar again, and I was like, could I make my own music? And I first got a loop pedal. In fact, I got this one, and I was now able to make these very complex loop-based recordings with my guitar, like weird music I made that was like interesting, but it only would have happened using that. And what I liked about that loop pedal is that they had a thing where you could then plug in your bass. And so I was like, okay, I've got guitar, bass, what do I need? Drums. And there was like 9 different drum preset like beats in there, and they were fine, and they actually somehow just knew what sort of like BPM you were playing with. So like you would just activate it and you would have drums, but you couldn't like customize your drums. And that's actually how I found my way to Ableton, to be honest with you. And I don't think I've ever even shared it. It's almost like this was so long ago, going on almost 10 years ago. I'll be 10 years on the Ableton game. It's the end of 2022 right now, recording this, late November. But yeah, it was, so like next year, spring. So it was 2013, 10 years. And I went to Guitar Center and I was like, so I need like a drum machine, because I figured I needed more like drum related capabilities. And what the guy said to me was like true and not true at the same time. Go figure for a Guitar Center employee. But he was like, yeah, people don't really use drum machines anymore. And I don't know why I'm giving him a horrible New York accent because I don't live anywhere near there. He's like, yeah, people don't use drum machines anymore. You know, they use something called a DAW, digital audio workstation, like Ableton Live, you know, and he was true in that what I really needed was to start actually taking my stuff to the next level and using a DAW like Ableton. But let's face it, people still sure as hell, sure as shit, still use drum machines. But I think what needed to happen happened. So that's when I like kind of thought about it and I was like, what the hell is this? And I left the store. That's commonly what you might do at a Guitar Center. You leave. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, I've had some weird experiences at Guitar Centers. If you'd like to hear about them, let me know. But so then I started researching, and I realized that yes, indeed, it was Ableton Live that I sure did need, and started doing my research. And then I got it like a few months later. So anyways, but I wanted to, it was all around the guitar and an audio interface, which this one, which I 3D modeled doing. So if you want to support me, if you've been on this journey with me since I started these videos, like doing them consistently, March of this year, 2022, I think what I'm going to do is those thumbnails, that's art that I create. And so I think I might start with the thumbnail for the last one, SDHO 34, because I don't know if this one will be cool or not. I mean, they're all cool, but yeah, that's all my art. And I think what I'm going to do is like a way to support me is I'm going to start releasing the thumbnails as one-of-one NFTs. So what'll be cool is, first of all, if you guys do buy them, you know, and I'm actually being supported to make this content. Well, I'm if you like this, I'll never stop making content. And then a perk of buying the NFT is not only would you be supporting me to be making this content, but you can also get a free tutorial, whatever you want your tutorial to be. That'll be what I'll upload next, and it can be any topic in Ableton or any other topic, even if it's not Ableton, even if it's like digital art stuff. You know, like just any kind of thing, or you want me to talk on a topic. I would prefer if it was a topic I was knowledgeable about, like music, digital art, crypto, blockchain. If you want me, nothing divisive, because I don't want to be talking about anything on this channel that's going to be polarizing. This is about hanging out, having fun, and I don't want to say taking back our lives, but like, when I got into Ableton, I was taking back my life. Like you know what I mean? Like Ableton gave me thoughts that where I could just think about Ableton and get excited, think about music production, thinking about this brand new world that I knew that if I stuck with it, I would just be able to do things that would almost be magic. Guitar, I wanted to be able to make sure I could get my guitar into this Ableton Live. So, audio interface. Audio interface, if you didn't know, that's how you get your guitar, your microphone, your bass guitar, anything with like a line-in input or XLR, and even MIDI. Like if you actually have a MIDI cable, because that goes to a MIDI keyboard, that's why you would want an audio interface. Also, if you're going to have that traditional music producer setup where you're going to have studio monitor speakers, that's you've got your TRS cables going from your audio interface into those, pushing them out, and you're controlling them. You know, but to be honest, you don't need, if you don't play any instruments and you could care less about studio monitor speakers, you're like, dude, I don't need that. You actually don't even need an audio interface. I'm just throwing this out there because some of you might be thinking about like, oh, I like Ableton, I also play guitar. I've been thinking about bridging the two, but wasn't too sure. And we'll actually talk about that a little bit because we're going to be paying homage to the guitarist, the bass guitarist, the person who wants to plug instruments and get their instruments in here. And we're going to talk about a wonderful plugin. And again, I'm not a big plugin guy. In fact, you can tell that here in my plugins, but Gutiar Rig. You actually, and even if you are a guitar guy, and you're like, oh God, so now I need to go get this plugin. No, I would say that if you are going to be playing a lot of guitar, bass guitar, you might want to process it through like a guitar, an amplifier simulator, because that's what it is. It's like an amp simulator, but does a lot more. But as I will also show you, so don't click off if you're not like an instrumentalist. Don't click off if you are like, I don't want to hear about Gutiar Rig. I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to spend all the time on it. I'll try to get to other things, and I'm not drinking any beers, so I'll have a lot of like attention headspace, so I'll make it long if it needs to be, but I won't take too long, because I will show you that even if you are a guitar person, you're like, dude, I don't care about Gutiar Rig, I will let you know that you totally don't even need it. You want to know why? Because if you've got the full version of Ableton Live, I've always been preaching about this. I've been about this from day one. It was like, listen, if I get that full version of Ableton, I trust in them so much that I know I can do anything in it. I don't have to get any plugins, but I got some plugins just because, like, why not? Sometimes you'll pick some up. Gutiar Rig is a good one, but right here in audio effects, amp. I'm just going to drag it. This amp, that's an amp simulator, and you got these different presets. It's really good. You don't even have to think of it as like an amplifier per se. You can almost just think of it because like it's what it does. Like it provides harmonic distortion, variations of harmonic distortion and saturation, which is really the same thing, just like different flavors. But then if you really want to get that, so this amp device, I always have to tell myself to use more because there's a lot of different like Ableton distortion saturation plugins, which are great on your sounds. I forget to use this amp, which is really, really good. But yeah, cabinet. Cabinet is then the speaker cabinet, because if you aren't aware, if you're a guitarist and you have an amplifier, it's either going to be an all-in-one amplifier cabinet combo. That's kind of more your traditional like practice amp. A lot of amps are that, but then you have a lot of amplifiers like stacks, you know what I mean? Like Marshall, where you've got the head, which is the amplifier, which is where all the voltage is, all of that, all the controls, the power is there. And then you've got the cabinets, and the cabinets is like what this is. And you can different speaker arrangements, 4 10-inch speakers, 4 12-inch speakers, condenser or dynamic mic. It's really cool. I never use the cabinet, and like they want you to kind of use it like amp then cabinet. I never really used the cabinet because I got wonderful distortions that gave me really good like mids and highs with this amp. And maybe I didn't play with the cabinet much, but every time I then chucked the cabinet on there, it then cut out all the highs and made it more muffly. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. I don't need to be like, it's coming from a guitar amp. You know what I mean? Like I just want good sound. So we'll get into that, but we're going to be getting into Gutiar Rig first. So yeah, also my phone is low. So if I cut off video, the video will go on for as long as, or this production will go on for as long as needed, but my battery might be low. So hopefully if I do cut out, that'll be why. Okie dokie. So first thing is, yes, the bass guitar players out there are going to like this, going over Gutiar Rig, but I'm going to show you that Gutiar Rig, this thing, and I'm not endorsed by them. When you have like hardly any views and any subscribers, you don't get endorsements. Actually, maybe you do. Maybe I should reach out and be like, hey, I'm doing all this free marketing for you. You go pay me. I don't even know why I said it that way. I'm getting excited for the tutorial. Smash like if you're liking this. It's been almost a month and a half since I've been on here. Luckily, I didn't forget how to talk in the meantime. Let's go. So the first thing is you can process anything with Gutiar Rig, and let's just drag it on a track. So it's a plugin, which means for those of you that don't know, if one of your friends was like, hey, I'm not kidding, you got to get like this synthesizer, or you got to get this blah, 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 like this really great distortion, here's the website. So, you would then go buy it and you would then plug it in to Ableton. So even if you have a full Ableton and not full Ableton, because there's people who are like, listen, I use these plugins, but I want to use Ableton. So they'll get like a basic version of Ableton, save some money, and then they know they're just going to use their own plugins anyway. So and then you snork them in here. I used to have more plugins, but when I got my new laptop, I didn't reinstall all of them, but for the most part, the only one I really use is Gutiar Rig. Addictive keys I should use more. That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna drag it here. I hope I'm not annoying anyone. This is the Sound Design Hangout. We're hanging out, okay? So if you're like, hey man, this guy's got to, yeah, it's a MIDI effect. That's why it didn't drop onto the audio track. Check this out. So like you basically got like custom, I didn't care about that. I wanted to have like a real like, this is like a Fender Rhodes. I'm gonna play some notes, see if we can get some notes. Yeah, so this is like a physical model. Remember physical modeling synthesis? This is what it is. They've physically modeled a Fender Rhodes, but they're calling it a Mark I. Electric Grand, another one. Wait, is that the same sound? What the hell? This is weird. Why is it doing the same sound? No, I don't. Probably wants me to update. Anyways, we're not here to do this, although I will, I'm gonna change this. Now I'm getting annoyed. Now I actually want to know why it's being weird. Now this is just playing a preset. Whatever, we're hanging out, so. But this should change every time I'm changing this. Like this should sound very like grand piano-y. Close mic. Retrogrand. Yeah, it is changing. It is working. Boy, what's going on with my ears? So yeah, I think there's like different... Okay, I'm just gonna click through. Okay, now this is what I was looking for. Hear that nice, if you didn't know, like if you wanted one of those sounds. Cause like we here love sound design, and like I used to be, let's give it a lot of reverb. I always want a lot of reverb, tremolo. You can get some really interesting sounds with electric pianos. But I was mostly doing like Ableton electric pianos. Drive. Let's check out some presets. Cool, we're hanging out, we're having fun. That was fun, wasn't it? All right, goodbye, addictive keys. Gutiar Rig 5, Gutiar Rig 6, you know what, screw it. Because I'm giving a lot of love, I'm gonna do Gutiar Rig 5 because I actually picked up Gutiar Rig 5, which came out around that same time in 2013. In fact, I think it came out in like 2012, and then they just released Gutiar Rig 6, I think a year ago. I just have a lot more time using Gutiar Rig 5, and like it's very sentimental. In fact, I bought it like almost a couple months after I bought Ableton Live 9, the first one. And I was so excited about what it could do, and I thought it just looked so like beautiful with all of these like cool little like things here, you know. It's like, oh my god, it's so all these cool little things, and like, you got all of these let's see, all of these, like you just click one of these and you got, oh, it's like it's just cool looking, right? Like I like but it gives you really good sounds. You can flick through presets. So instead of worrying about like, you know, starting over and going into the components and being like, okay, so what do we need first? Well, we need an amplifier. Okay, what amplifier should I use? I don't know. I don't know. You know, and then you drag it here. Okay, this is the hotplex. Okay, all right, and what do we need next? So like when you saw that amp thing over in our regular Ableton effects, so we go to audio effects here, and like I'll just drop this amp. So this amp right here, that you like, so like again, don't need Gutiar Rig, okay? Save your money. Unless you would like to, then do it. Like if you don't have like any sort of an amp simulator, an amp sim as they call it, Native Instruments makes it. They make great stuff. You would definitely be well served. But like if you have a full version of Ableton, this amp right here is like this top part up here. See it? And then see this cabinet? That would then be like the cabinet. And as you know, Ableton, if you click here, you'll get different presets. If you want presets, you don't want to have to be like dialing in all of these knobs, although that can be fun, but also can be kind of annoying. And same thing for cabinet. Yeah. So that is that. So Gutiar Rig, we might want to process a little bit of guitar. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have not been playing a whole lot of guitar or bass guitar this year. It's been more of like an Ableton. It's been more of like a synthesizer. It's been more of like a sound design year. And I just let myself kind of just give up. Give up, but like, we like oscillate and go through like waves and stuff. And right now, I'll be playing the guitar soon, so I want to see what kind of I want to see if I know I've got guitar samples in here. So I'm typing in guitar up here, and I'm going to go to samples, and I know I've got I just want regular plain guitar, like as if you had your like electric guitar plugged right into the audio interface, and it's just giving you clean nothing. And let's see, because I know I've got my own stuff here. I know I've got my own stuff in here. You can't hear these because I don't know how to pick this up, but I want to just like, I want to scroll through because I feel like I want to, I know I've got my own stuff somewhere here. These are some chords. I know I've got some, this might be my own playing. Yeah, that sounds like me. I like it. So this is me playing me playing bass. And let's just take a listen, even though nothing's on this Gutiar Rig. In fact, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. Some screen optimization here. So right now, I'm going to turn this off, even though it won't be doing anything. And I'm just gonna play this. Okay, that's a little loud. Here's what the waveform looks like. I'm just gonna make sure we're on loop. I'm okay with it being on repitch, because right now it's not, I don't need this stretch anything, I don't need anything looped. This is just for sound design, but I'm gonna bring this in here, so it's sort of, it's kind of a nice little like, sludgy, dudgy, ooh, in a nice little turnabout way. So this is it just clean. I'm gonna lower the gain a little bit. It's a little too loud. It's just me playing around, like just trying to come up with ideas. So now let's activate Gutiar Rig and nothing will change. And then hold on, one thing. So, and I just muted it. So it's still playing, but it's muted. Probably knew that, but whatever. I know there might be people watching who have never used Ableton and they want to just, yeah. So anyways, guys, just so you are aware, that's a piece of bass, me playing, that I recorded in Ableton, and I saved it to the hard drive. Now I'm going to process that audio in Gutiar Rig 5, or in Gutiar Rig. You can process any audio with Gutiar Rig, just want to be clear. You can process any MIDI track playing a synthesizer or any sample with Gutiar Rig. If you were to be like, because I'm sure someone has this, I just got ESP. Someone's like, well, that's cool, but can I be playing my guitar simultaneously with Gutiar Rig? Yes. So with that audio interface, you're probably going to have 2 slots or 1 slot. And so what you want to do is you want to go into preferences, and you can go to preferences by going into the live preferences or doing a command comma. You go into audio, you select your audio interface under the audio input, audio output, and then in an audio track, like this is an audio track, you would do external in. You would select your, because mine has a 1 and a 2 input. Number 2 is what's recording my mic right now, but let's pretend the guitar was a number 1. You would select number 1. You would want to make sure that the monitor is onto auto, and you would want to make sure that the track is turned on, and then you would want to make sure it was record enabled, and you pluck a note, and obviously you want to have your chord plugged into the audio interface in slot 1 or slot 2. You select it, and yeah, then you will play. So I wanted to cover that first, but for simplicity, for hanging out, and because I don't want to play a guitar yet, I'm not ready to start playing again. It's been a few months. This is good for our purposes because we're doing sound design, right? So here we go. We're going to launch this clip, going to turn on Gutiar Rig, and then I'm going to start selecting amplifiers. So here we go. It's going to loop because we've got loop on. If I push Shift Tab, I then go to the device page. Shift Tab again brings us back here. If you were wondering, just do Shift Tab, nice little hotkey. I believe you can switch it up by pushing this. No, you can't. Yeah, you can switch it up by doing this one down here. So let's turn it on. Nothing will happen because nothing's on. Now let's get an amplifier. Now what we could do is we could come over here to presets and we could just like throw these presets on and see what we like. And we'll take a look. Let's see what Country Citrus sounds like. Take a listen how it changes. Now you can tell it sounds like, so we've got our amplifier up here. We've got our cabinet down here. We've got a tape echo. We can like turn these off. It's not really doing much, this tape echo anyway. And then, oh, let's just see what slow motion movie sounds like. Interesting, right? So like you can do all of this crazy stuff, right? So like literally if you're a guitarist and you're like, dude, I'm getting sick of playing guitar, you plug in and you can just like listen to that, like. And then while you're playing, you'll just click on something. It'll sound so like weird or just interesting that you'll be like, oh, I need like a heavy riff. And then you'll click another preset and it'll just be weird, right? Like, let's see what scrapping delay is it. And then like you'll play weird to try to make this sound come to life. And so like it's really cool. And like if you're feeling stuck, this would be a good thing to look at. Like, oh, this is, sounds amazing. In fact, I'm gonna record that. Let's insert an audio track. Resampling. Let's record it. Yeah. I just want to play it back. I'm going to click auto here and I'm going to play this back, make sure that it sounds correctly. Because I think I want to like just play around with that later. Like, doesn't that sound really good? And again, I'm going to play it over here and I'm just going to turn this off from the time being. I'm just going to call it resampling. I love resampling. Smash a like if you like doing resampling in here. Let's take a look at the bass guitar track. So like, let's play this and listen to that one. It's gonna sound the same. This wonderful thing. I'm gonna turn the audio off because I don't have any inputs. And then I'm gonna just deactivate it here and just listen to everything it gave us. And I'm actually gonna come into audio effects and always force a habit. I would just do this, always put a limiter. I'm not gonna explain why because I've done it a million times, but let's click play and then I'm gonna deactivate Gutiar Rig and you'll see like just how different it is. Ready, I'm gonna deactivate it. Yeah, man. Now again, we can dial up amazing bass guitar tones just with Ableton. So, you know what I mean? That's nice. My head's hurting. Really, my head's hurting now because it's too loud. But I want to keep volume levels consistent. All right. Okay. So that's kind of cool. I'm gonna duplicate this because I want to keep this here because I really like this plugin, this chop bass. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. It was really good. Well, let's talk about what we have on this sound that we really like, this chopped bass distorted. We've got Electric Lady, which is a flanger device. We've got an octaver, which is, it's an octave pedal, so like it'll sense what frequency range you're playing, and then it'll play that same thing up an octave or down an octave or up multiple octaves. Tremolo is a way to like oscillate the volume, like basically modulating volume. Trans amp, this is like a distortion plugin. And then control room, which is really cool. It's that cabinet. So like we've got all of these different things we can choose from. So see this cabinet right here? Look, now we got a different cabinet. Now we got a different one. But I want to keep it there because I like it. So you've got all these different things you can play with. Look, you can even change like different microphones. And this is all physically modeled. So like when we were doing physical, we were talking about physical modeling synthesis with like collision and tension. Like this is physical modeling because they're trying to mimic this stuff and like where you want it placed on the speaker. And then here's an EQ. They're just scooping out this range, which I don't know why we need this range scooped out. I guess that's like 200 hertz. That can get a little muddy. And then they already have a limiter because they knew this thing was going to be beefy and sleepy. So yeah, that's cool. So you might say, well, what if we just build our own? Yeah, let's do it. That's why I duplicated it, because let's build our own. So I'm going to turn this one off, open this up, and I'm going to delete this all out. Get off presets, go to components. And what are we going to start with first? Let's start with an amplifier, right? So they've got all these amplifiers, and right now, what piece of audio are we using? We're using a piece of me playing my bass guitar. Now, there's a bass amp. Let's double click. Now, I remember like I was trying to figure out if I should buy a Gutiar Rig, and I was like on a forum, I'm like, you know, I'm playing bass, and I want to buy a Gutiar Rig, but before I buy it, there's only one bass amp. I mean, do I have any like good sounds to get from my Gutiar Rig if I'm mostly playing bass guitar? You know, I don't know why I'm doing that voice. That's supposed to be nobody. And they were just like, yeah, you can use them all. Like, oh, you can use all of these. You can use all these amps. You don't have to like not use them because like in the real world, maybe you don't plug your bass guitar into a guitar amp. Dude, this is sound design and it's a Gutiar Rig. But we'll play with Bass Pro first just because it's like most appropriate. So we've got our amp up here with all of our little controls and voltages and being physically modeled with all the perks and peculiarities of electric voltages and VCs or whatever. And then we got our cabinet, you know, oh, we got 2 different microphones, so if we don't like it, we go, I wonder if it sounds from this microphone, crossfade. I guess air might be how much space in between. Probably want to keep it as dry as possible, so we got that hypothetical mic as close to this big booming cabinet as possible. But let's X out of this. Well, actually, no, let's leave it up. I'm going to click play again, and you're going to hear it just with nothing, and then I'm going to click it on. Wait a second. This one. We'll close it. Okay. I'm going to turn it off, and then we'll turn it on. And then I'll tweak these knobs to get the tone you want. It's great to save these presets because you don't want to be tweaking these knobs every time, because sometimes, and I'm sure you guys will know what I mean, especially if you do Ableton and you also like play instruments, like you try to get better at the instruments as well, so like, you know, you're not really concerned about Ableton, you just want to like Ableton to be open, you want good sounds, and you just want to play. You don't want to be having to tweak sounds, and by the time you find a sound, you're tired, you're burnt out, and then you don't even get to practice. So let's play it. I'm then going to turn it on, and then I'm going to dial this up to sound good, and then we'll add some effects. So when you want to work on sound design, especially with Gutiar Rig, it's good to have something played. So lay down a riff like this one we got here, and then play it, let it loop, and then do your tweaking. So let's go. Let's tweak. Shift tab. Now listen to this, and now listen to when I activate it. And this will give you a feeling for roughly what this sounds like, and then I'm gonna do some sound designing. And it's really, I'm just going by ear. Some of these knobs are very self-explanatory, so let's turn it on now. Turn it off. So that's the sound of it coming through my audio interface, just clean. And this is it coming through this bass amp sim. So what will we add to this? Well, I think I might want to see what we have under distortion. Now, I never know if you want to put it above or below. I would put it below. and then see if it sounds better on top. Like, I don't know if it does matter. Let's see. Sounds better way up there. So like, it's ultimately, like, I don't know what that means. Like, I would think that the sound would flow into the bass and then flow into the pedal, but maybe that's not how they architected it. I'm gonna click this drop down and is there a dry wet mix? No, there's not. Okay, now let's add something else. Let's add some modulation. I want a chorus because I love chorus. I think it's ensemble. Now, I don't know if it's gonna sound, you want the ensemble after distortion, so I know it's either gonna go here or it's gonna go here. So let's, see, it sounds better there, right? Now, I don't really know the system flow to this, and I don't really need to, because I know when it sounds good, right? So that's like my sound design philosophy. I know when it sounds good. All right, maybe a little bit of reverb. And yeah, I know you normally don't put reverb on a bass. I don't care, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted some like bassy bass. Ice verb. Can you hear that? You can hear the cold Arctic tundra. Now you've got like ambient bass. Freeze. Wow, that's pretty cool. Let's stop it. By the way, reverb, if you don't know about freezing reverb, you have to drop it in the comments. So because we have to talk about that if you don't know about it. But I think we've done it before, but I can't expect you to watch all of them. Let's resample this. I wonder what this sounds like pitched up or pitched down. Let's come into here. And I'm gonna unfreeze it, and hopefully it fades out very smoothly. Sometimes when you deactivate these things, they make a click and then it like ruins the tail, but we'll see. Let's actually turn some knobs, see if it changes things. Doesn't appear to. Oh, nice, smooth. Okie dokie. I'm gonna call this first one. These are our resamples. Chunky digital bass. Always good to rename your stuff, and I'll call this Bassy Atmo. Bassy Atmo, Bassy Atmo. I don't know what that is. Let's see here. So I'm actually kind of good to not really play this anymore. I'm good with the bass guitar. I think we can move on. So here's the thing, guys. I'm going to open up a audio track, Command T. And what were we just doing, okay? What were we just doing? We were just processing a piece of audio, you know? Like, we didn't like need to be like a accomplished guitar player to get the go-ahead from the guitar gods to be able to play with Gutiar Rig 5. You can put anything in Gutiar Rig 5. So I'm just going to go to samples and just, I don't even know what any of these are. They're not my samples here. I need to get my own samples. There's just something interesting. Yeah, no. I want some sort of, I guess this is all the samples I have. To be honest with you, you don't even need samples. They're all going to come with like Ableton. I want something that's like a clip. Yeah. It could even be drums. It could be anything. Ooh, this looks interesting. This is something I played on the keys. Oh, no, it's a MIDI track. Okay. So you can put it on audio track, MIDI track, doesn't matter. So like, look, like this was just me just playing, and I figured why not record it. Let's click play. Let's see what's on this track. Oh, an electric piano. What do you think? So that's cool. Don't need this. I'm actually going to turn the phaser off because I'll add the phaser later. And let's get our Gutiar Rig. Drop it on afterwards because now I want to run this through amplifier. So let's go to components. Let's get an amplifier. Let's do AC bot. So see how different that is? So it's like you can just anything, you know, it's just like fun. Now this is just chaos me playing, so, you know, I don't really... Let's put this EQ8 afterwards and get some of these bass out of here. I'm done with it. Done with it. So yeah, you can do anything. I mean, like, let's just see if we got some drums. It's like a drum sample. So okay, here's like a relatively clean, oh, it's actually a MIDI clip. I guess clips are all MIDI clips, even though a clip could be audio. But anyways, so here's a drum break, and then let's add, you know what I mean? Like drums is, just listen to this drum loop, and then let's do a Gutiar Rig on it. See what it sounds like run through amp. Oh, I dropped it on the wrong track. Man, this thing is loud. Jeez, why is it doing that? I think that means we need to move on. Like, you're spending too much time here. Whatever, it sounds fine. Better to like gain stage that way. Yeah, that sample, I mean, those sounds are just like squeezed, and I don't want to like go through and like, so you can just like go over here and like, okay, let's do nerve. Wow, okay. This is actually pretty good. I'm gonna give this a better rating. That's awesome. Like, that's what's great about Ableton is like this is now your thing now. Like, you now got this. It's like, it's wonderful. Let's get a reverb. But you don't need to use these reverbs. I mean, you got Ableton reverbs, right? So it's like, you can just mix and match. Like, all right, let's do Just do Ableton's reverb. Oh, by the way, they updated Ableton's reverb for the newest release or whatever. Crazy, like it gave the drums like tones. And I'm gonna finish things by going back to that bass guitar, turning off that Gutiar Rig. I'm gonna click play, and then I'm gonna finish by just processing it all with Ableton stuff. Let's go. Right now, it's just the default. Those are turned off. So let's get our amp. Wow, that sounds great. Just right there. No, thank you. Yeah, it sounds great on blues. Turn the gain down. You can play with the dry wet. So right now it's no amp. I like how that sounds. I even like that like sizzle, you know, like that like amp feedback sound. And you can play with like basically these EQs. Can remove a lot of it with the presence. Yeah, it's good. But now let's go to the cabinet. See, did it not get like rolled off and smaller like? Now let's get off of the 112. This is some bass. Let's go to 410 bass. It's gonna be like 410-inch what, condenser or dynamic? Ooh, dynamic. No, I think I want mono. What's better? Let's group these. So, okay, turn off the cabinet. See, it just sounds more like pristine. But that's gonna sound more accurate to a cabinet. Does that matter to you? Does that not matter to you? It doesn't really matter. And let's turn off amp. Always be A-B things, always A-B things, because then you actually know what these things are actually doing to your sound, and if you need them. We don't even need a distortion because we really got it here at this amp. This amp is just doing it a lot for us. I mean, you really don't need anything. Let's just have fun. Hey, how about a grain delay? Let's get a glue compressor. Okay, now let's get weird. Not sync, what do I want? So that's the thing, it's like, you could just have fun and make cool things. You get this sound a lot when you play with grain delays. Just only do the wet sound. Resample. So yeah, that was fun. Hope you enjoyed it. And then yeah, we got these like really cool sounds. So like just from having fun, we've got these like cool things that we download, and these are you know. So this is our chunky digital bass. Let's listen. Like, it's just cool. Like gives me an idea for something. And then bass atmo. Like, let's see what, let's pitch it up. Wait, we can't pitch it up because we're in re-pitch. Let's bring it in. Oh. I want to know what that sounds like. Oh my God, wow. It's cool. So you can just play around with stuff. I'm going to Command Z it back to... It's cool. So it's nice like Atmo. And then this thing... And that's happening because the warp mode we have is repitch. I like repitch just because it allows me to do what I want to do with it. Well, there you have it. Hope you've been enjoying all of this. I was excited to come on and make this one, and hope you've enjoyed all of this. If you did, smash a like, subscribe if you haven't. If you want to support me, at least for now, I'll sure get a Patreon at some point. But yeah, I will be making NFTs of the thumbnails, so I'm going to do a trial run. I haven't minted an NFT in like 2 years, but it'll be on OpenSea, on Polygon, so there won't be any gas fees. And yeah, it should be pretty easy. And if you do get one of my NFTs, you get for free any tutorial you want of your choosings, or I can talk on a topic that's not divisive if you'd like that. So anyways, guys, that was fun. I hope you had fun. I had fun, and hopefully that gave you a lot of ideas and it shows you just some cool things that will give you an ideas. I like to think maybe at the end of the day, if there's anything I'm doing, it's giving lots of ideas to you, and you're learning something. Good to be learning things. Enjoy yourself. School boy.